Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss about another topic related to shell script. In our previous session, we discussed how to take user input, right? So that thing is clear. But just assume a scenario where you are supposed to accept few input values, and after accepting that values, we want to perform some operation, and that changed means after performing some operation, for sure we are going to change some data, right? So that change value, how we can redirect again back to the user. So this is our task. So to explain this process, what we will do, we will walk through one simple, you can say, addition program, okay, or any other mathematical program. We will create that scenario where we will accept few values, then perform mathematical operation, and then return the value. So this is the entire process that we are going to conduct now. Fine. If you don't know what is read, how we can take the input value, then you can refer previous session, because there we have already discussed. Even all these sessions are in a proper sync and sequence. So I always recommend to go in a proper sequence, so that it would be bit easier for you to understand the ongoing things, because for now we are just focusing on a input related part. Not, we are not covering basic thing like how we can create the executable shell script, because file you can create, but how to make it executable, for that you need to refer was one session where we discussed that, right? Fine. So let's start for today's session. Let me show you work lnk command, through which we can reach out directly to this work with object link screen. Now here, if I do page down, you will find that yes, there are some files and directories. So we are going to select only one directory. Yeah, this is the one which I'm going to use as a my directory. So taking option 5 here, and there is one file which is sharmit.sh. Remember one thing, this file is already executable file, so there is no need to create it executable. Now I'm taking option 2 here. Fine. So in this shell script, I have prepared this multi-line comments like presented by Sharmit, session, addition, addition program, and shell script. So this thing we will make dynamic. If you remember, in one of our previous session, we also performed addition related thing, right? But there we were not used the dynamic approach. Dynamic means every time we call this script, it will accept the input values, and according to those input value, it will generate the output. Clear? So let's start. So we need 5 more lines. So let me insert, let's say 8 lines. Okay. Yeah. So here I'll write the first thing, which is echo. So firstly, simply you can print echo, please enter number 1. Okay, so from this we are accepting the number 1. So this is just a text. Now once text is printed, then you are supposed to accept the input. So to accept the input, you will write read, then space, here I will write num1. Okay, simple. So firstly it will print please enter number 1, then it will read the number 1, which is nothing but accepting the number. Then we will write echo please enter number 2. Okay, after writing number 2, it will again read the next input, which is number 2. So number 2. Remember one thing, this is very case sensitive thing. So it means if you try with capital R, it will give you error. So always try to put it as small read, otherwise it will give you error. So far what we have did, we just accept the values, and we just printed the text and accept the value. So this thing we have already covered, right? So like what is new? So the new thing is, now we will perform some mathematical operation on these input values. So let me insert few more lines. Okay, fine. So let's say we want to perform addition. Okay, so for addition I'll give one variable name as sum, then equal. Again, always make sure that you are not providing any extra spaces in between the assignment, otherwise it will give you error, because this thing we discussed, right, that if you are considering this as a command, it will give you error. Fine. So after this you can simply write one symbol, dollar symbol, then double parenthesis, double parenthesis. This is important. Why? You can check out in previous session, because there we have discussed. Now here I'll simply write num1, plus num2. So what this line will do, it will perform the addition operation between num1 and num2, and whatever output it will return will be stored into the sum variable. Clear? Fine. So number is cleared, and means calculation is done. Now this variable contains the changed output. So what we will do, we will return this value. So to return, what we will do, we will write like this: echo the sum of, here to access the num1 value, I'll write dollar, because variable can be accessed only with dollar num1 and dollar num2 is dollar sum. So I think this line is pretty much clear to you. Like the sum of number one, dollar means accessing number one value, and number two is sum. Okay. So this sum is normal text, but this sum is a variable because we are using dollar here. Clear? Fine. So we are ready with this script. Let me copy the path of the script file so that we can run it. And now I'll press F3 for save. And remember one thing, after save, again press F3 just to came out, otherwise it will not reflect your changes. Okay, now I'll go to session B. Here I'll write qsh, which will open this Qshell command entry screen. Here I can simply write or paste. Let me show you the path exact, which is home, then Sharmit, then tech Sharmit, then Sharmit.sh. Now if I press enter, you will see it shows this text: please enter number one. And note one thing, it is not showing the dollar symbol. That means this script is still in process, right? So it is looking for number one. So let me provide it a number as 40. Then it shows please enter number two. Again dollar symbol is not there, so let me pass it as 60. After pressing enter, you will see the sum of 40 and 60 is 100. So this is what we are expecting, because we perform addition operation on 40 and 16, so it is returning 100. And now it returns dollar. That means script is completed. Clear? So these are the way through which we can perform operations, mathematical operation, using input values, which is dynamic. Dynamic means, okay, let me show you what is the meaning of dynamic. Now if I again call that script, the same script without any changes, and this time like I provide the value as for example 20 and 30. Okay, so this time it will provide the output accordingly. The sum of 20 and 30 is 50. So this is called dynamic approach, because now we are not fixing anything as a hard coded. We are just taking the input from the user, and user decide what values he or she want to insert, and what output he or she will get. Okay, now another thing is, you can simply make this as multiplication as well. Let me show you. So let me just remove this and make it as mul. Similarly here we will write mul the product, or mul is okay. Okay, and the multiplication of this. So in this case the title would be multiplication, or let me write it in a small. Okay, fine. Just for the demo purpose, I change the value. So now if we press F3 for save and exit on Qshell, if I try to run the same script again, you will find that it is changed now. Accepting the input 2, then 4, and you can see the multiplication of 2 and 4 is 8, which is correct. Okay, so these are the all steps that we can perform in order to create a script which accepts the input as a dynamic approach, and then perform some operation and return the value. Now I'll quickly show you how we can uh, execute the same shell script file using cl program. So here I have already created one program. So firstly we are using dcl for declaring the variable. So after dcl provide variable name, type, storage and length. Then we are using chgvar, variable name and the script of the file. And after that we are just using strqsh to run the command which hold that script of the file, path of the script, right? So if I run this program now, you will find one thing which is a bit strange, because it is not accepting any input. On Qshell we were expecting the input, right? We were expecting the input, but here we are not expecting the input because we are running it through the cl program. So it just printed all the lines which is present there, and as there is no input value, so it is returning the product as 0, because 0 0 and multiplication is also 0. Okay, so for this maybe you can think out like what could be the solution, how we can do this, because in the upcoming session I'm going to share the solution for this also, but meanwhile we are just focusing on like concept, like how to accept the inputs and the basic thing, but we will for sure going to cover all these things in a advanced part. So yeah, that's all for today. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.